In Sydney's inner west, a Tower of Babel monument to multiculturalism and mother tongues represents waves of immigration and diverse attitudes, from assimilation to integration. These values are often in conflict. Controversy has surrounded the term Team Australia, the Racial Discrimination Act, and freedom of expression. With the National Symposium of Jewish History and Anti-Semitism, school tours and the public can witness the varied past of cultural diversity and atrocity. Graffiti has long been a form of protest and free expression. Vulgar or thought-provoking inscriptions can be found on the ruins of ancient Rome.
It's here in Sydney's Darlinghurst that you can see the writing on the wall, or at least you could before it was defaced. It read, "How dare you come here and tell us how to do racism when we've been practicing it since 1788? The response, thank you very much."
In a St. Peter's laneway, graffiti artists are free to express themselves without persecution. Comedian Nick Sun is candid when on stage for Sydney Fringe Festival. Expressing himself freely on his blog and social media meant he was fired from hosting a comedy show on broadcast television.
Because I just assume all country people are racist, because a lot of them are. And I know this because they shout at me from across the street.
You're of Nepalese extraction?
I don't know anymore, man. It's very complicated. My parents, they speak that language, but I don't speak it. And I went back there and they didn't think I was from there, so I'm just another one of those people who, like a lot of people now, who aren't from anywhere in particular. Post-racial, I believe, is the buzzword.
I was walking the street and this woman just yelled across the stage, and she went, "Go home!" But I was already going home, so I didn't know what to do, you know what I mean? So I just stayed out, and it was really hot, and I got sunburned, and I was like, fuck, I should just listen to that fucking racist woman. She was looking out for me in a weird racist way.
I'm like racist against my own race, like, I don't know if that's internalized or whatever, but I notice that all the time. You know, I'm a racist, so what?
At the UTS Human Rights Awards, Dr. Tim Soutphommasane, the Race Discrimination Commissioner, condemned casual racism jokes.
Racist when often something is said or done in just harmless fun.
The current Racial Discrimination Act protects freedom of speech. In Section 18D, you have a very clear and explicit protection of freedom of speech. So anything that's done in the course of fair comment or reporting on an issue of public interest, anything that's done in the course of artistic expression or in the course of scientific or academic inquiry is exempt from being found in breach of the law, provided that you act reasonably and in good faith.
I'm offended by X Factor, for example, or border security, which I was watching with my mom yesterday. And so I'm going to try some jokes about border security today, because I found that offensive. And then also, my mom loves the show, but she was an illegal immigrant herself, so go figure.
How do you guys feel about boat people? Yeah, personally I can't stand these half boat, half people. Come this country with the weird catamaran feet. Stay in the ocean, boat people, the land is not for you. That's what I says. I think the main problem is that they're coming in on boats. It's pretty outdated shit. That's like 1788 stuff.
Comedy about being marginalised isn't limited to racism. Parts of the Race Discrimination Act are modelled on sexual harassment laws. The creator of HBO's Girls, Lena Dunham, took to Twitter in defense of female celebrities targeted by a hacker who leaked naked photographs. Madeline Kulp, a librarian by day and stand-up comedian by night, has been active in using irreverent comedy to further dialogue on female emancipation. Along with a collective of other female comedians, Madeline produced a satirical video.
Good comedy is anything that makes you laugh. Anything at all. And that can be touchy or not touchy. It just depends how well it's done.
So offensive comedy can be good comedy?
It can be good if it's done with intellect and with heart behind it.
I don't need feminism because I feel empowered. I don't even ask my boyfriend if I want to leave the house. I don't need feminism because I'm a strong, empowered woman. I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into the bridge. I don't care. I love it. I don't care. You're on a different road. I'm in the Milky Way. You want me down on earth, but I don't really care about feminism. I don't think I need it anymore. I don't think it matters anymore because I don't need feminism because I don't mind that we don't have equal pay. Like, it gives me something to strive towards.
No, I don't think that making fun of race or gender with no subversive element or questioning element is particularly inherently funny.
For their next project, the Collective of Female Comics plan to counter sexism by subverting assumptions or comments that they have been exposed to. What guys have said to their face in casual conversation, like they're okay things to say.
And we're rolling.
Wow, you know so much about like technology for a guy. How did you even learn all that?
It's like guys are more likely to be violent. It's just part of their hormones. So I think if it's like between a guy and a girl, is if I'm going to employ them, I'd choose a girl because statistically they're less likely to be a violent offender. It's not, it's not a sexism thing. It's just facts.
I'm sorry, call me a bigot, but I don't think that men can actually run the country. I mean, if they can't bear children, how can they bear the responsibility of the Australian nation?
Yeah, so the clean-shaven thing, is that a political statement? Oh, you don't shave your underarms. Is that a political statement? Nothing offends me. Like, I'm a big believer in total freedom of expression, especially when it comes to comedy. I don't think that anything should be off limits. If we can all be united by discussing things that are particularly challenging, especially racism or sexism, then it opens the floor for everybody to have an opinion. The best kind of comedy is the kind of comedy that tickles you and then gets you in the gut at the same time, tickles you and turns a knife, because you're then going, oh, why did I find that funny? But there's people who like watching comedy that don't like to be challenged and they just like to have their stereotypes reinforced to them. So it's all down to the context in your audience. I respect someone's right to be offended, but if you're offended by something, that's not where the conversation stops, that's where it begins.